Alright, we're back. Time to get a shiny real quick. No problem, no problem. What up, brother? I'm about to go on vacation tomorrow, but today I will be, sorry, I got a frog in my throat. Today I'll be just chilling. I'm gonna go get Theodore after his birthday party. And he should be all packed up. And I'm gonna get ready and get packed up. I picked my seats for me and him on the flight, which was nice because I thought I might end up getting stuck in a middle seat or a window seat, and I get a lot of anxiety. Well, I mean, it was a couple days ago, but this is his birthday party, yeah. He turned 12 on the 11th. Me and him did our celebratory stuff on my last couple days off. I got him a pool cue with a little carrying bag and a glove because he's been really into pool lately. And I got him a regulation weighted chess set that has like a little roll-up board and all that stuff. And I also got him a little time clock thing so he could play timed chess in real life because he's been really into that as well. And yeah, he was pretty excited about both of them. We played chess for quite a while. His mom got him a membership at this local pool hall so the two of us can go without having to pay, which is pretty cool. I wouldn't have done it because it's pretty expensive. But it's cool though. Bubblegum for the flight's not a bad idea for popping your ears, especially for a kid. It's not a bad suggestion for Theodore. I've flown a fair amount, so I usually can yawn it out myself. I do have a funny story though. One time when I was flying, I didn't pop my ears like they or I didn't like yawn to like pop my ears or whatever, right? Because they weren't really bothering me. It wasn't like aching or anything like that, but long story short, the pressure actually made my ears pop themselves, like when I got off the flight. So I went up, did the whole flight, came down. I didn't like yawn or chew gum or anything to pop them. So one of them just freaking straight up went and just popped on its own, and it legit messed up my hearing for like a good 20 minutes. Everybody around me sounded like robots because it like literally damaged my eardrum, not releasing the pressure naturally and just letting it pop inside my skull. It was pretty scary. I thought I'd like blew up my eardrum or something. I don't recommend it. But yeah, it was nice of her. She was not too thrilled about us playing pool though, because she said, "That's a bar hobby, you realize that, right? And we both have alcoholics in our family." And I was like, "What?" So I told her, I was like, "Yes, they do have pool at bars, but we're going to a pool hall where that's what people are there for." And then also, if anything inappropriate happened, I would just leave. You know, I'm not gonna let him be privy to anything. And sure, it has a bar there, but that's not what people are there for. They also have bars at almost every restaurant in town. And but I think her real motivation was a second thing that she said, which was like, "Couldn't you have got him into something that I can drop him off at? For this, I have to go with him every time and stay there with him the whole time." And I think that was the real reason why she was annoyed by it, is because she didn't want to take him to there. And I was like, dude, heaven forbid you take him to go do something. Yeah, it can get pretty bad sometimes. I mean, there are bad bars, but usually those aren't the ones that allow kids in there in the first place. Usually the ones that allow kids in, like the bar and grills or pool halls and stuff like that, they keep things pretty tight because they're trying to be family friendly. It's going to be the ones that are 21 and up that will have potentially some kooky stuff going on, like drag shows and things like that. Well, it's a different culture. I mean, you guys can drink at like, what, 18, 19, something like that? Totally different culture there. But yeah, there's definitely a lot of bars in general in the world. They're not inherently bad. I like how that's what you think of them as, is Coke and Fanta. That's what you connect it with. That's funny. I haven't had any problems with them, but the performances are, to be fair, usually very adult-oriented. Very sexualized, scantily clad, that kind of stuff, from my experience. It's going to happen, eventually, because that's what happens when you never give up. Just like how I'm eventually going to get that curry shiny, because I ain't giving up. And I'm also eventually going to get a Recluse Mark Rotom. Speaking of that, when I saw that Rotom the Great, it made me wonder where that mark specifically comes from, because I know that they have new marks that they introduced in Scarlet and Violet. I think there's one that's called The One, literally, so it would be like Rotom the One, and I think that one's also kind of a rare one, or it takes a really weird circumstance to get it or something. So I need to look at the new rare marks for Scarlet and Violet, because I didn't even bother looking at it. I just went for Recluse in Scarlet and Violet and got that, but I didn't look into any of that, because Scarlet and Violet didn't hook me to the degree that Sword and Shield did. I kind of like them all, but I guess if I were to pick one, it probably would be Guzzlord, just because he's the weirdest one. But I like Blacephalon as well. It's very out there, and it has a really good shiny. But they all have pretty good shinies, actually. I think probably the weakest shiny is the jellyfish one. I forget what that one's called. And actually, the the weird bug one, I forget what it's called. That one's shiny's pretty bad. It has it just changes its legs from white to black, so it just has like black pants on. That one's pretty bad. I think I got that one in yeah, Nihilego is a jellyfish one. Yeah, I think that one's okay. I think I got the Nihilego one and the other one, the bug that looks like a female bug or whatever. I forget what that one's called. But I think I got both of those in just random Dynamax adventures. I wasn't even going for them. It turns like a yellowish goldish. Yeah, it's not bad. It's fairly good. Pheromosa, yeah. Pheromosa's a good one. Or not a good one. It has a pretty bad shiny. It's a good Pokemon. Or it looks cool. But its shiny's pretty bad. It just changes its leg color. For the most part. That's all I can remember. Because I know that I got it in Sword and Shield in a Dynamax adventure. And I think I got Nihilego as well. And again, that was just from random Dynamax adventures when I was bored. Not specifically going after it. Is he normally orange? I'm not sure if I've seen Kartana as one. I'm pretty familiar with what most kind of like popular Pokemon's shinies are at some point, but there's some that just don't straight jump out to me. I was going for the Ultra Beast, or not Ultra Beast, the roaming dogs in Soul Silver, but my 3DS got like corrupted, and I still gotta like fix it and get it to where it'll boot DS games again, which is pretty sad. So that save file is just kind of sitting there. I messed around with it for like 5 hours one day, and I literally was almost in like tears because I was so mad. It just seemed like everything I was trying was making it worse, and I had literally just paid $200 to get it modded, not counting shipping and everything, so that I could stream on it. And then that, out of the box, it was messed up like that, which I don't think it was them that did that. It was like modded. You know, like modded for like running aftermarket games, and or you know what I mean, like putting the games on there and stuff, homebrew or whatever. And dude, I was so disappointed. So I've just been putting it off because I don't want to have another day of just being like rage filled and sad. Yeah, that doesn't sound like it's the best change, but it's enough to make it significant. I think I already know. I thought it was grass and steel or something like that. I only know because of competitive. I saw it being played in a competitive game. Speaking of that, I was actually thinking about putting I was watching the U.S. Internationals earlier today, and I was thinking about putting it on and kind of half reacting to it while I shiny hunt today. I thought that'd be kind of fun. So let me see about getting that added to the stream. Get me copyright struck. Where's my oh, what the heck? That's not what I wanted. I'm trying to look at my history. If I look at my history, I can get the I can pull it up where it was timestamped, where I used it or watched it last. Dang it! See, I don't know where to look at history on the main page on the actual YouTube. Whoa, it's all buggy. I don't like it. Where's my history? Whatever, I'll just find the spot where I was watching. I think Wolfie was literally the first game. And I was watching it up until the point where the Floette demaxed. That was before.
Getting it straight out of bed. Yeah, we're switching things around.
Alright, 1 second.
Evolution for this Charizard. Of course, you want to get all the power you can. You want to get that stun to deal some big damage going on for this drought. It's going to be a sunny day, but a mega for a mega.
I'm going to pause this for a second while I add it to the stream layout. Okay, that's not it. I should have been done browser. Let me cancel that. There it is. Okay. Okay, maybe I shouldn't have done browser. That was not correct either. I don't do this often. Window capture. That's the one. There it is. Alright. Now I need to find a way to have it full screened. Oh, do I lift the chat up? I don't want the chat on there. There we go.
Mega Floette over on the opposing end.
Yeah, some good information here. The Charizard Mega revolving before the Floette, likely going to move before the Floette, but what is the Garchomp on close side? There's a pressure to protect.
Okay.
There it is. It's not going to attack, giving that Charizard freedom this turn to go after that big Mega on the opposite side, but no, Wolf just wanted to scout out what Cole is deciding to do, protecting the Charizard this time around.
Yeah, I mean, at this point,
Okay, so let's see here. Nihilego typing. Poison and rock?
Yeah, and it's a great position.
I don't recall.
Now, right? You've got the Toxapex on the field. You've got that wide guard that gives that Charizard perfect protection because, yeah, the Garchomp has Rock Slide, but not really going to be able to take that as easily. The Floette as well, not hitting for super effective damage, so not in the greatest spot. It's going to make Cole have to.
But yeah, we got Wolfie versus the two former world champions playing.
Now making sure that we are protected from
Wolf, and they're both undefeated in this tournament up to this point.
Opt-in for this Dragon Claw, start dealing some damage. Charizard, a lot of damage on both the opposing Pokemon, but what does this Floette opt for? Single target damage as well. Moonblast into the Charizard, but not enough to be picking up the KO.
Yeah, some good valuable damage from Wolf, but Cole seeing straight through that wide guard. The
I think technically Ko has the advantage with his like type matchups. But Wolfie has the advantage because he is the most decorated player of all time. So he's basically like alchemy. He's like the human alchemy.
Very valuable onto that Garchomp as well, but Cole feels in a bit more of an advantageous situation right now with this Garchomp pressuring that knockout straight onto the Charizard this next turn.
At the amount of damage that can do, and looking at the other Pokemon to maybe try and
Yeah, I don't care much about it either, but I like watching Wolfie and Colin Harrer. I like to follow them doing their tournaments because Wolfie's just a good content creator. I'm just gonna be kind of half watching it in the background. It's not super loud, is it? I can turn it down.
A bit of back and forth. Both players want to protect their Megas here. You don't want to get your Floette trapped on the field if you are Cole, but you don't easily want to switch it out either into something else that could lead to your detriment, right? Using the
It does look like a big username.
But no one to fall prey because of that wide guard pressure. You're still in the same scenario here, but now
I thought you said your name was Hello I Am. I think you might be indecisive. That should be your new name. Indecisive. You could be Indy for short. I knew a guy named Indy when I was growing up. He was a pretty good skateboarder.
So at least when you're trying to reduce the amount of damage done, that Intimidate will drop the attack on the opposing Garchomp, but Floette doesn't want to be trapped.
Actually knew quite a few good skateboarders. I'm gonna be honest, I'm not really like paying enough attention to this to make it worth rocking. I'll watch it later. It was a good idea, but It's more of a distraction than anything else. That's a large username. Almost seemingly unnecessarily large. But what do I know? I collect shiny Pokemon. And I don't add them to my name. I mean, everybody's into something. I used to collect Pace dispensers when I was a kid. Then I decided I didn't care. And now I'm kind of collecting Rotom collectibles, but just because it's a cool thing to do. For now, to have a cool little kind of display thing or whatever. Speaking of that, I bought a card. I'll show it to you. It's crazy. So I bought this card for like $10, which I think is the most I had spent. And it was the cheapest I was able to find this card, and I think it's because it wasn't like, it's not in like near mint condition. I think it's like lightly played or something, right? But I did it because I think it's normally like $40 or something like that, and I got it for $10. But I bought it off a dude on eBay. The post marked it as delivered like 2 months ago. So then I put in a ticket in eBay to be like, hey, what the heck is happening with this window here? I need to fix this. This is weird. There it is. But yeah, it like got lost in the mail like 2 months ago, and I put in a ticket for it on eBay, and the guy said, on my end it shows it as delivered, so you're going to have to follow up with the post office. And then I just never took the time to follow up with the post office, because when I tried to, it wouldn't even let me open a ticket on it, and I just didn't feel like dealing with it. And then it came in the mail like yesterday. It's crazy. It's not even like really a Rotom card. It kind of is. It's called Chiron's Choice, but it features Rotom. It has Rotom looking at another Rotom that's a Rotom fridge in like the background or whatever. But that's my first hyper rare that I've gotten. It's got Rotom. Yeah, it's got the Rotom ghost form and the fridge. Got both. It's got the bulb form, I should say. The light bulb form looking at the fridge. So it's got both of them. And I was like so frustrated that the one I spent the most money on never showed up. But yeah, it's a ultra rare. It's my first ultra rare I've gotten, because all the other ultra rares that are like its different forms, or it's like, you know, the different appliances, all of those are like $30 plus. So yeah, I was pretty disappointed. But now that I got it, it's probably gonna light a fire under my butt to get the rest of them now, because I was just kind of like discouraged by that. But now my encouragement will be rising up. So technically I got like 2 relatively common ones that I still need to get. I've just been holding off on them because the original people I bought them from, or this one guy I bought them from, messaged me and said that he didn't actually have them and refunded them to me, which was kind of unprofessional, but it's whatever, you know. Sometimes people lose track of their inventory. But I just haven't bought it since then, because it's literally like $1.30 for the 2 cards, but it's like $1.99 shipping on TCG Player. And I was like, I'm not going to pay $2 to get a 6-cent card and a 50-cent card or whatever it is. So I've been trying to wait to like rope them in with a different card that I'm getting to slice off that $2 shipping. But yeah, I like it. It's pretty cool. There's quite a few like common and uncommon Rotom cards, but I'm just gonna skip over theirs. I want to get like rare plus. So yeah. I mean, whenever I think of British people, I always think of all the British people that play RuneScape, because I watch RuneScape stuff. I don't really play it these days, but I like to watch some of the content creators, and lately I've been watching people playing a dead man mode, and I think it's because Jagex is a UK a UK company, but because of that, seemingly the predominant people that play RuneScape seem to be in the UK. So it just always reminds me of all the UK players of RuneScape. I've had a lot of people offer to animate characters of mine. I probably wouldn't really bother with it personally, because I don't really I don't take pride in the look of my characters too much. The only exception I've had to that is I used to play this game called APB, and in APB, you could really super customize your character, and I made a character that looked like he was an Ombu Black Ops. Yeah, I don't know the difference between Welsh and English, besides, I presume, an accent difference. But yeah, my APB character, since it looks like Ombu Black Ops, I thought was pretty cool. I created a whole bunch of different Ombu masks, and I used to sell them in-game, because there's a little market where you can sell your stuff, kind of like there is in Roblox. And I was able to buy several pretty expensive legendary weapons off of selling my masks. At one point in the game, apparently there was a whole clan of players that, a requirement of being in that clan was wearing one of my masks. I mean, all those kind of accents start to blend together. I definitely couldn't tell the difference. I did watch a couple videos about different dialects and accents, and kind of what the differences are and stuff like that. I find it pretty interesting. And I remember they did one on the U.S., so I watched the whole thing through. And then I was like, when are they going to talk about my area and how our accents are different? And then they got to my part of the U.S. and they said, this whole area is pretty much the same. And then that's all they said. They were like, yeah, pretty standard. And they skipped over our whole area, and I was like, okay, so we're the boring part that just sounds like generic American? Awesome. I guess I don't get to have any back history or anything. Lame. Yeah, we could definitely. I could add you on Discord for sure. But yeah, I just thought it was funny when he finally got to my area. He was like, "This whole basically half of the quarter of the country, they all sound the same," and I was just like, "How dare you call my whole area boring and the same sounding?" Yeah, I just think that UK accents sound cool. I wouldn't really make fun of them. I'm like most Americans, where I would just be like, "Oh, that sounds cool." It's everybody has a British accent that they do, and I'm sure it's probably sounds terrible to you guys, but that's the one accent that everyone in America can do. You don't see people walking around doing Russian accents, German accents, stuff like that, but everybody has some corny British accent that they pull out, and I assume it's probably because the same reason why you guys probably have American accents or whatever, because of media that you consume and stuff like that. So you always will be like, you know, if your favorite show is from people in New York or whatever, you're going to have some New York accent that you're able to do or whatever. I think that's probably why. And when I was a kid, my parents were really into like British comedies and stuff. So I remember when I was really little, when it was past my bedtime, I would sneak out of bed and my parents would be watching Red Dwarf. And I didn't know what it was. I just knew that I wanted to watch it because they only watched it after my bedtime, and they also told me that it was like inappropriate for me or whatever. So when I was an adult, I downloaded all the episodes of Red Dwarf and watched them all the way through. And I was like, this show is actually excellent. I'm glad that I did this because Red Dwarf is it's hilarious, and it's also just very well written. I really like a lot of British humor. I find myself watching, you know, British comedies and stuff like that. Yeah, I hear that they would more likely just say cuppa, just simply cuppa instead of cup of tea. Now, I say I like British comedies, but I would say that I probably only actually ever watched Red Dwarf and Monty Python. And then I think I watched some like drama series about like a ghost and a werewolf and a witch or something like that all live together. And I think the English version of that, because they made an American version of it, I think it was better. Kind of similar to The Office. A lot of people think that The Office was better in the US. Yeah, I've actually been having a lot of those kinds of a lot of videos recommended to me right now on my feed. Because I watch short videos sometimes when I'm just like trying to get tired or whatever, and my feed's just been taken over of people that have come to America to watch the World Cup matches, and they're all just like blown away by things and stuff. Like they're going to like Waffle House and Taco Bell, and they're also like blown away at like people being kind and nice to them and stuff like that. I saw one guy who like he just was going around and seeing things, and he randomly walked up to a firehouse because he was just curious about it, and the people in the firehouse said, "Hey, come on in, we'll show you around," and they gave him a hat and a t-shirt and like showed him around and stuff, and he was just thought it was super cool and nice. And I was like, it's just cool to see different cultures kind of meld together. But the thing that they're the most seemingly surprised about is that how little people care about the sport. They are just like, they're blown away. They're like, you have the World Cup here. That is a huge deal, and nobody even knows that the World Cup is here or gives a crap because of how like small the sport is in compared to the following of the other sports. And some of them are actually like mad about it, like a lot of the Scottish people, because I guess the Scottish team hadn't been in the World Cup in like 28 years or something like that, so tons and tons of people came from Scotland to watch the games, and they were just like mad that nobody cared. I thought it was quite hilarious. Over politics? I mean, it takes a kind of there's a certain kind of person that cares about that. And I think the average person that you come across in America, and I would assume probably in the UK as well, are not super politically wound up. And if that's the case, then you can just connect over almost anything, you know what I mean? I actually saw this video the other day of this lady who moved from the UK to the United States, and she said one of her favorite things is the fireflies. I guess she lives in a place where there's fireflies. I don't think I've lived in a place that has fireflies since I was really little. In Louisiana, I think they had them. And I can hardly remember that because I was like 6 or something. It was probably younger than that. but she was seeing them and talking about how cool they are, and that just made me think, man, there's so few places that actually have fireflies. That's true. Yeah, yeah. There's always things that can connect people internationally. Hobbies and stuff like that. Especially with countries that speak the same language for obvious reasons. I was actually listening to a podcast the other day where the guy was talking about the differences between the. I think he was saying specifically England and America, and the way he described it was like hilarious. He said that when he moved to America, he felt like all the people there were like, they were like a brother that he had. That his dad had like, he had another brother with his dad that lived somewhere else, and that his mom was a lot nicer and was way more encouraging and stuff, and yeah, so he's like, you're a lot like me, but like you're a little different. Like I can see how we're very similar, but you were raised differently. Like you have a lot more confidence, and you have a lot more. You were encouraged a lot more and stuff like that. And I thought that was a funny way of describing it. He was like, I can see where we came from the same place, but you guys have like changed in this positive way. Yeah, I thought that was kind of cool, because that is something I hear a lot about the UK, is that culturally you guys are your humor and everything, you guys like to tear each other down and take the piss out of each other is what they always call it or whatever. So it's a lot less of like an encouraging environment. They were even talking about how the UK has 2 of the 6 Ivy League colleges, and that America has, or no, they have 3. They have 3, and then America has 3, and they said that, but America has like 80% of the entrepreneurs that come from Ivy League colleges come from the American ones. And he's like, and I think that's because Americans are just like, they inherently are a lot more like confident and encouraged to do things entrepreneurially or whatever. So, and I was like, I guess I could kind of see that. Alright, I sent you a request. I think it's just B-Hood that you'll get it from. A prime example of what? Being discouraged? I would say that I was fairly discouraged as a kid, and not as much as like a community. I was raised by parents that were pretty critical, but I still felt like I had a lot of confidence despite being tore down all the time, and I still feel the same. Like even this marriage that I was recently in, my wife was pretty discouraging to me, but I still have this like inherent confidence that's behind everything, so I'm willing to accept a lot of BS from people and stuff like that, but I think deep down inside I know that I have a lot of value. You're a prime example of being stereotyped? I'm not sure I exactly get what you mean. It's kind of funny in regards to that, because I think I always felt like I had a pretty low opinion of myself, but people that knew me growing up always considered me to be somebody with a pretty high level of confidence. And also kind of like a high sense of self or whatever. So it's an interesting balance that I struck there. I didn't go as far as to say hate each other, but They say the way that they phrase it is that they're very critical of each other, and usually in a humorous way, but they're definitely not going to be like encouraging to each other. You know, they're much more likely to ridicule and make fun of somebody than to encourage them to do something. That's just what I was seeing on videos recently. I've also heard they're not like, if you like just have a chat with someone on, you know, randomly in public on the street that you don't know, apparently that's would be super odd culturally, and it's definitely not in America. In America, I would say when I'm at work, almost every person I talk to or every person I encounter at, like, you know, in a kind of work environment, I'm almost always like, hey, good morning, how are you, stuff like that. And some people, they just ignore me, and then that's when I burn their house down, you know, or something. Probably not that extreme, but I'm like, I hate you. No, I think it's rude, but nobody's required to talk to you. I don't know what Dark Deception is. It sounds like an RPG or like a Dark Souls type game. Dark Deception, where you play as like a spy. It could be like a Tom Clancy game. That sounds weird as heck. I'm mostly into Pokemon. I don't really find much time for much else. But when I do, it's pretty insulated. I like Team Fortress 2, and I think I always will, because it's just, I have such a huge history with it. And I like Smite 2, just because, you know, I used to play that game with friends, and it's a fun one to revisit. I like APB, even though it's super dead and super broken, just because it's one of the coolest games ever made. And that's pretty much it. I mean, sounds decent. My kid's been wanting to play Apex Legends with me lately, and I'm not against the idea of it. I'm not very good at FPS games, but I'll just play with him if he wants to. And he always claims he'll carry me, but then he ends up like camping in places and trying to cheese wins, not actually killing a lot of people. So I think he actually thinks that he's better than he is, or he just talks a good game but knows that he's actually not that great. One of the two. But either way, I don't care, because it's more fun to just do something with him than to worry about anything else. In fact, he always wants me to play chess with him, and chess is another one of those things that stresses me out for whatever reason. I think just the fact that it's one of those games that's entirely purely skill based. There's no RNG to it like there is with Pokemon. So since it's like purely skill based, then basically if you win or lose, it is entirely your fault. It's not chance. So that just puts a lot of pressure on me, because I'm very critical of myself. But when I was playing with him recently, after I bought him that board and that time clock, just having that time ticking away and just knowing that if you don't make quick moves, you'll just lose by default, it felt like that took a lot of the pressure off of me, because I was like, either I play correctly or eventually I run out of time and he wins. And I feel worse losing that way than having infinite time to make a decision and then making the wrong decision. I don't know. My logic behind it's kind of weird. Yeah, there's some pretty epic voice actors out there. I actually had a video recommended to me today about some legendary voice actor. It was the guy who voiced Winnie the Pooh, and apparently he voiced a whole bunch of other characters as well. And this guy was doing like a deep dive on them, and it was showing all the different characters that he voiced. And then I said out loud, it's the same voice for all the characters. He's not doing different voices. He's just doing his voice, and they're putting it onto all these different characters. So I literally stopped watching the video because I was like, this guy sucks. He's not even changing his voice at all. He's just like, hi, I'm Winnie the Pooh. And then the next one he's like, hi, I'm an owl. And I'm like, dude, you sound the same. Get the actual heck out of here. At least change your voice ever so slightly. Like, even people that do audiobooks will do like a different cadence or pitch or whatever for the different characters while they're doing the audiobook. I'm like, but this guy is just he's gonna be Winnie the Pooh in everything that he does. Get out of here, dude. Pete the Cat? Maybe. He voiced a lot of stuff, but all the ones that it was showing in those videos all sounded the same to me, and I was like, this guy sucks! And then I threw my phone across the room because I was so disappointed. Luckily, it landed softly on the top of a newborn's head. It didn't survive, but my phone did. And that's all that matters. Eeyore. Yeah, Eeyore. Yeah, I think I actually am surprised by that. There's very few voice actors that I like pay attention to. One of the only ones are the ones that voice Dragon Ball Z, because Dragon Ball Z is pretty epic. And then it's one of my favorite shows of all time. And it's also one of the best English dubbed anime shows, because most anime shows, I don't even know why, it's like the voiceover casting people go, alright, so line up, do the most annoying voice that you can think of, and whoever has the most annoying voice, they're going to be the main character, the one that talks the most, the one that the show is focused on. We're going to put the main character as the most irritating voice possible so that nobody wants to watch the English or wants to use the English dub. That's our plan. That's what it feels like they do with every show besides Dragon Ball Z. Like Goku, they were like, let's just find an actual cool guy that's good at doing voices. But every other one, like Naruto, My Hero Academia, like all of them, the main character is like nails on a chalkboard irritating, and it pisses me off. I'm like, as soon as I realized that the first time, like, I got to a point, I was watching Naruto on Toonami. I think it was on Toonami. They were doing this Naruto Year's Eve marathon, where they played all the episodes up to the point that they were currently at, and I had food poisoning. So in between basically having diarrhea, I was watching these episodes, and I watched all the way up till the point that they were at with the dubbed episodes, and then I was like, I want to keep watching this, so I switched over to the subtitled ones, and I was like, this is so much better, because the voices aren't annoying, and the dialogue is actually, better. It's less, like, dumbed down and made kiddie-ish or whatever. It opened my eyes. Because that lady that does Naruto's voice, I feel like if I met her in real life, I'd punch her in the throat just for having such an irritating voice. Which, since she's an old woman, that probably would be not nice to do, but it's her fault for having that voice. Maybe that would help if I hit her hard enough in the throat. Change it just enough. I mean, if you sound like an old woman, then sure. Do never show me your voice. Like I said, you have a accent, I'm assuming, so since I am a simple-minded American, I'm sure it would be endearing. Well, you said you're still young. I will say that the British accent is definitely not the most masculine accent out there. It definitely has more for Americans. It's considered more like dainty and stuff. You know what I mean? So like, that's why we don't have very many British action stars with besides Jason Statham. And if you think of Jason Statham, he may have a British accent, but he's like, raw. He's like super grimy for a British accent. Most of them are just like, just super like they're gonna go make you a latte or something, But that's again stereotypical. I mean, you can feel offended if you want to. I'm talking in generalities. Like, even think of some of the like big stars and stuff, like Benedict Cumberbatch. You wouldn't think of him as like a super masculine man, you know what I mean? Even like the action stars, like Tom Holland, when he speaks in his British accent. But I mean, he's a kid, and he also plays a teenager in the movies, so he's probably not a great example of it. But like outside of like James Bond, most of the British characters are not like portrayed as super masculine men. I would say Kingsman, though. Kingsman's pretty good. The Kingsmen are pretty masculine British characters. So it's not just Bond. Oh, yeah? I had actually... people always recommended that I did voice things. I actually did. I worked at call centers for a long time, and people that I talked to on the phone would tell me that I should be like a voice actor. I also would have people say that I should be an air traffic control person, a radio DJ, all kinds of stuff like that. And obviously I never did. And then at one point I applied to do like book narration. Just threw my hat in there, but it was for like a small company. And that never ended up working out. I think where I'd put my application in at was probably one of those sites where they're actually just trying to sell you on like equipment to record with and stuff like that. Like, they act like they're trying to get you work, but they're actually just trying to sell you on the things that you would need in order to get work, and then kind of drop you there. Because everything's about trying to milk people for money right now, based on like some perceived benefit in the future. But hey, that's business for you. I narrate my own life all the time, and I do a pretty good job at it. I'm like, Brian walked into the room. He got himself a rock star. I do talk to myself quite a bit, jokes aside. You lost your first role by how? By talking to yourself. Seems weird. This person talks to themselves? They can't be a voice actor. Send them to jail immediately. Um, that could be a problem. Was it some kind of like Roblox Sonic game thingy, or was it like animation? I feel like Sonic as a franchise has had some weird people. I did like. See, I thought it was probably some Roblox thing. Roblox is strange in that regard. That's why I'm leery to even ever play it with Theodore. Like, if Theo wanted to play it with me, you know, I probably would. But outside of that, I wouldn't want to delve into the community because I feel like as an adult in that game, it's just strange. It's a strange community to delve into as an adult. Unless you grew up with it, then you're probably fine. But I definitely didn't grow up with it. But yeah, I actually there's a couple videos out there that are pretty good about this guy who's like obsessed with the Sonic universe, and apparently he started off as being like a big fan of Sonic, and then at some point he got the opportunity to create stories and games and lore for the Sonic universe, and apparently he made some super weird, wacky stuff that they accepted as canon, but then they eventually kind of cut him out of it because he was kind of a psycho. And it makes for a really interesting story because he made up like this whole like race of like hedgehogs that were in space and just strange stuff that was like Knuckles' race and just weird stuff. I watched this whole deep dive on it and it was pretty funny. Dude's pretty obsessed with the Sonic universe, and the fact that he was ever included in the canon is also nuts because he is just a crazy person. But it's actually really cool though. The story is cool. Well, what's funny is I mentioned to Theodore and his friend that game because you talk about it all the time, and they both were like, "Oh God, Dandy World, nobody plays that game. That game's lame and cringe." I was just like, they all think that they're too cool for it. Maybe it's bigger in the UK or something, I don't know. Or maybe it's just because they're basically teenagers and pre-teens and they think they're too cool for it. We're all kind of insulated in our own compartmental stuff. Like, for instance, when I did stand-up comedy for a while, all the stand-up comedians, every now and then an improv comic would show up and they'd do a set or whatever, and we all would be like, "Ew, someone that does improv, they're lame." We'd be like, "Oh, I'm going to give you a prompt. You're out in the jungle and you're a lion, rawr." Like, we would just like just mock them for making up goofy stuff. And also, to be fair, a lot of the improv shows are like supposed to be clean and family friendly and stuff, and we're all edgy losers that say curse words and talk about dirty stuff. I don't, but a lot of people do. I mean, I talk a little bit about it if the mood strikes me, but it's not my go-to. I just go for what I find to be silly, and I think that going for blue stuff, as they call it, you know, dirty stuff, it's just I feel like it's a little too easy and it's kind of lame. I'll go for shocking every now and then, but I think that that's more interesting than just being like, genitals. Though I think that's probably pretty good, just saying genitals for no reason. Photos of what? Dandy World? I forgot what the conversation entailed. I was like, you better not have sent photos of it. I like the egg dude because he kind of looks like he'd be in Parappa the Rappa. Parappa the Rappa. I don't know. You probably aren't familiar with that game. Kick Punch! It's all in the mind. If you want to test me, I'm sure you'll find. I actually showed Theo Parappa the Rappa because I have it on my, I have like an emulator thing, and it has like thousands of games on it, so I showed him Parappa the Rappa, and it's a rhythm game, and he's like, oh, I'm really good at rhythm games, so I hand him the controller, and he fails super hard, and he's like, this game is coded wrong, the timing's off, and then he hands the controller back to me, and I beat it first try, and then he's like, how is that possible? I'm way better at rhythm games than you are. And I'm like, obviously not. And after a good while of me beating all the levels and him failing them, he was like, this game sucks. I was like, alright, dude. He reminds me of his mom in that sense. If he's not good at something, she's like, I just don't like this. And you're like, uh-huh. There's no reason for that, I'm sure. I get what you're saying. Well, he claims to be good at everything, including rhythm games. I would say, honestly, I'm not the best at rhythm games. But there's certain games, I feel like, that transcend a genre, and Parappa the Rappa is one of them. It's technically a rhythm game, but it kind of transcends it. Just like how Final Fantasy is a turn-based RPG, but it kind of transcends turn-based RPGs. Like, it's technically a turn-based RPG, but it's like to such a legendary degree that even people that don't usually like turn-based RNGs can still appreciate the old Final Fantasy games. That's just my perception of it. Speaking of that, there was somebody talking about Baldur's Gate 3 and how much of a masterpiece that is, and I've heard that a gajillion times, so I might end up just playing it just because came so highly recommended, and it has so much replayability and stuff like that. I don't know, maybe I'll try it out. But there's so many games I intended to play through because my friends highly recommended them, like Fallout 3, and I never got completely through that. There's all kinds of games that are like solo story games that I just end up losing interest in. I don't know why. I think the only reason why Pokemon ever keeps my interest is because I played it so much as a kid. So, like, it's just in my DNA. I mean, it's a good thing to be confident. That's what his mom helped him with. I'm kind of a cynical person, so I do kind of unintentionally discourage people sometimes, even though that's not, like I said, my intention. But his mom is really good at making him feel like he's the coolest kid that's ever existed, and I've always appreciated that about her. So even though we're not together now, I still do appreciate that she's able to instill so much confidence in her children. I think that it is a very admirable trait, and I appreciate her for that, seeing as how we share a child, and I love him just like she does. And I want him to be confident. I want him to think that he can do anything. You know, humble to a degree, but confident as well. A nice little balance. I wonder how you got it. You probably got, like, Wonder Traded it or something, I bet. Or whatever it was called back then. Somebody probably sent you over a hacked one or something. That's how most people had shinies back in the day. My first Pokemon game was Pokemon... I think it was Pokemon Silver. I think I played Pokemon Silver, and then I went back and played Pokemon Blue, and then I ended up playing Red as well and Gold as well. And then I played Ruby, Sapphire, and Fire Red, and I played Emerald, I think. I got pretty into those ones. And then I completely fell off with the franchise for many years until I picked it back up with Sword and Shield, and then went back and bought and played through all the previous ones and went, man, why did I stop playing this franchise? It was always good. I do remember getting shinies though when I played through Silver, because I was trying for so long to catch those legendary dogs because I wanted to complete the Pokedex and I wanted to get everything, and it only gives you one Master Ball. So I had to catch them and not a Master Ball, and they run away and stuff, and they're just a gigantic pain in the butt. So I was hunting them for so long, I ended up finding a shiny Tangela and a shiny Meowth just in the grass while I was looking for them. Just because of how many encounters I got while I was trying to find them and blah blah blah, because I didn't even know how to like repel trick and stuff back then. And then I ended up getting a shiny Lotad and Sapphire and a shiny Magikarp in Fire Red. Which I definitely don't have any more of them. I'll probably look at it once I hop off stream. I'd say so, yeah. The only thing that was kind of unlucky about it was when I got the Lotad, I got it on a friend's copy of Sapphire that I was just borrowing and playing on. So I told him, this is mine, and I'm going to trade it over to myself, but I found it, so it's mine, and I'm going to trade it over to myself. And he was like this rich kid, so he didn't care. He's like, I don't care, dude. And I don't think I actually ever ended up trading it to myself, but I was like, I found this, it's mine, I'm going to trade it to myself, I'm going to come back with with a copy of the game and trade it over to it, and he's just like, whatever, dude, that's fine. And I don't think I ever did. But in that moment, I was like, I found this, you didn't. Don't tell your friends you found it. It was me. And he was like, I got money to spend. I don't care about playing Pokemon, bro. I'm gonna go drink milkshakes or something. Did I? No. Well, you're the one who told me to turn my mic up to maximum. Speaking of that, I had a clip of Zubat that I posted, and my voice is just so loud in it, reacting to getting the Zubat and stuff. And for some reason, it popped off on Facebook Shorts. I got like 13K views, which is the most I've gotten for a clip. For whatever reason. It was literally an accidental shiny Zubat. I ran into it by accident while I was doing Beldum Bagon encounters. And for some reason, that one popped off. And then on YouTube, all of my most recent shorts have gotten 1 view. And I'm like, my shorts shadow banned or something? What the heck is happening? The heck, YouTube? But yeah, I think I'm going to wrap up the stream because I got to go to the UPS store because I got this tablet I was using for physical therapy, and my physical therapy's over with, so I got to send it back so they don't try to charge me hundreds of dollars because I don't like that. Yep, it is a Rotom tablet. Technically, it's called a Sword tablet, surprisingly. You love to see it? But yeah. So I'm going to do a couple more encounters, and then I got to dip out because I got to go do that. And then I also got to start getting ready for my vacation. I got to go swoop up Theodore in a couple hours and pack and all that fun stuff because I got a flight tomorrow night. We're actually flying out super late. We're going to be leaving at like 6 p.m. and we're not going to get to my hometown until like 12 a.m. It's gonna be bananas. Oh, you're saying you want to see it. Alright, well, be prepared for some loudness. Loudness. The intensity of sound. I don't know why I went to YouTube. I'll do a Twitch clip. Twitch clip! I swear I can never find my stuff! And the desktop is so different than mobile, and I never mess around on mobile. I'm not even finding it. Clips, there we go. It's under clips, that's why. Yeah, I was planning on bringing the Switch. I was actually kind of disappointed because I actually bought a traveling case just to take my Switch, and I thought it was like a really big one, like boom, like that, so it could put the dock in there. Because I wanted to bring the dock as well, because I like to play Jackbox Party Pack, and I thought I could play it with friends when I'm visiting and family when I'm visiting, and I know Theo really likes to play it. But the carrying case I got didn't have that. Well, yeah, you have to specifically buy the ones that are for that, which I thought it was. But, I mean, I'll be honest, I didn't research it a super lot. So I'm going to bring the dock, but I'm just going to put it separately in a backpack, and I'm going to bring everything else that I want to bring in the little carrying case, which is fine. I'm not going to need to play it docked when I'm traveling or whatever, right? So I can just have the dock. But for some reason that I was like, oh, I can't put a dock in here. But to be fair, it's probably better to have a more slim carrying case for when I'm just taking my Switch around normally, which I'm going to do more often than I will traveling with the dock. This might be the only time actually, so it's probably whatever. No, it's not that I was screaming. It's just my mic was freaking maxed. To be fair, that's just me reacting to an offline clip, so that's just me, like, making up what I thought I might have been saying to myself at the time or whatever. For the sake of, you know, putting it out there as a clip. I just remember being like, what? Because that was like the third Zubat I ran into accidentally because they kept spawning in front of me, and I was just like, dude. And then this time I was like, oh, well, it's shiny. That's cool, I guess. Something like that. I do remember when I forgot, yes. I think every time that I forgot, I remember. If I can remember correctly. That makes more sense, forgetting when you forgot. Sometimes I remember that I forgot, but I can't remember what I forgot. It's quite the conundrum. Alright, so a couple more encounters. Let's say 5 more. And we'll wrap up the stream. Juan! Only if they're sent to you by God. And if they are future events, then I look forward to learning to fly. Or at least jumping and kind of floating for a while and landing back on the ground. I don't do like true flying. I do like run, jump, and like fly really, like jump really far and then land. That's like my kind of flying. So that doesn't mean God still can't speak to you through your dreams. I don't think that dreams are the future. I think children are the future. I believe the children are the future. I don't know. I dream a lot of being at work and like just doing my job, and then I wake up and feel like I just did a whole shift I didn't get paid for. So if that is something, it doesn't feel very meaningful to me. It feels like frustrating. It's a song. It's just a song. I was mocking the song. I've not heard of that song. I mean, technically children are the future, because we're all gonna die. The people that are currently alive, and then only the children will be in the future. And they'll be adults. Well, looks like I ain't getting a shiny this time, bruh. What can you do? So we'll do this encounter, and then for fun, we'll review some of our shiny clips and relive our past shiny excursions. Let's see. Oh dang, fishing. Oh. I think that's what spin day is. Okay, what's next? What's next? Let's do this one. Your favorite Magikarp. I wonder what I'll get in this one. I could only guess. Oh my word, a shiny Rotom. Woo! But mudkips don't have different patterns. You have to go with like a pattern-based one like Spinda. Oh dang! I remember that one. It was very shiny. Didn't even get a good clip of it though. They cut it mid-sparkles. Lame. Alright, well that's it for the stream this time. I had fun, you had fun, we all had fun. I'm going to be on vacation, so enjoy the World Cup or whatever you're into. Dandy World Cup. I don't know if they have a World Cup in Dandy World, but if they do, enjoy it. I think it just looks super sick. Super legit. Ah, yeah. I'll watch it, and then I'll say, this looks like trash. And I'll delete it, delete you off of my Discord, ban you, block you from everything. And then probably eat a candy bar. Alright? We'll see what happens. Until next time.